If you're among the tens of thousands of sixth form students who are thinking about going to university and are worrying about rising tuition fees, record student debts and the uncertain prospects in the post-university graduate jobs market,
then don't worry, you are not alone. We're here to show you how you could be paid while you study and get a debt-free university degree.
Hello and welcome to the Sixth Former's Guide to Degree Apprenticeships. I'm Martin Birchall, editor of the guide.
And I'm Chanise, a former apprentice and presenter at the BBC.
The Sixth Former's Guide to Degree Apprenticeships is a brand new digital guide that introduces degree apprenticeships and the earn as you learn opportunity that they offer for sixth form school leavers.
If you're a Year 12 or Year 13 student, then there are two routes you could take to get a graduate job after leaving school or sixth form college.
You could choose to do a degree at university in the UK or elsewhere in the world, or you could join an employer straight after leaving school to do a degree apprenticeship.
Both options are intended to lead to well-paid graduate jobs, but they offer very different pathways and provide very different experiences.
At most schools and sixth form colleges, the route onward to university is a very familiar one for sixth formers. Open days and university visits, writing a personal statement, completing the UCAS application, offers from universities, and then of course the wait for A-level results day.
But the pathway offered by degree apprenticeships, well, that's much less understood. And because degree apprenticeships are still relatively new, many schools have yet to have a single student start a degree apprenticeship after leaving school.
That's where the new Sixth Former's Guide to Degree Apprenticeships and this programme can help. We're going to try and demystify degree apprenticeships for you. We'll be finding out how they can provide a salaried, debt-free alternative to a traditional university degree. And we'll hear directly from some of the country's top apprenticeship employers and their apprentices. But before we go any further, I think we should start by explaining what a degree apprenticeship actually is. Over to you, Chanise.
Thanks, Martin. Apprenticeships are defined by the government as a paid job which offers practical work experience alongside formal classroom-based training that leads to a nationally recognised qualification. This training must account for at least a fifth of the time spent on the apprenticeship and is paid for by the employer. Apprenticeships are open to people of all ages, so not just school leavers and young people. In England, there's a complete range of apprenticeships available from levels 2 and 3, which lead to qualifications that are equivalent to GCSEs or A-levels. Levels 4 and 5 are higher apprenticeships, which are classed as being the equivalent of a foundation degree. Level 6 are degree apprenticeships and Level 7 is the equivalent of completing a master's qualification. Although some of these Level 7 apprenticeships are available to sixth form school leavers too. It's these last two types of apprenticeship that we're looking at today. Apprenticeships that lead to the equivalent of a university bachelor's or master's degree. In Scotland, these are known as graduate apprenticeships. In Northern Ireland, they're higher apprenticeships, but in Wales, they're degree apprenticeships. A degree apprenticeship typically lasts 3 or 4 years, master's programmes can be up to 6 years, and you'll be working for the employer from day one. They'll partner with a university or other professional training provider for your formal training, which could be done on a 1-day-a-week basis or in blocks during the year. For almost all degree apprenticeships, this means you wouldn't be at university in the conventional sense, but you'll achieve a university degree or equivalent professional qualification. All university tuition and training fees are paid for by your employer. Since degree apprenticeships were first introduced in 2015, the number of people starting degree apprenticeships has increased each year. But sixth form school leavers only make up a small proportion of these apprentices. They're just as popular with those in work who want to get new qualification and those who want to change careers. But if we look at the destinations of 18-year-olds who have left school and sixth form colleges last year, we know that over 270,000 started a conventional undergraduate degree at university. whereas fewer than 4,000 began a degree apprenticeship in 2023. So at the moment, school leavers doing a degree apprenticeship are outnumbered by 70 to 1 by those choosing to follow the traditional university route.
Thanks, Chanise. It's really interesting to see how few sixth formers are going on to a degree apprenticeship when they leave school, despite the rising number of degree apprenticeship places available. I'm pleased we're joined now by two employers who are working hard to encourage more school leavers to consider degree apprenticeships after sixth form. Lucy Thomas is a senior associate in the school's engagement team at PwC, and in Bristol, Madeline Peters is assistant manager of KPMG's student recruitment attraction team. Well, Lucy, welcome to the Sixth Formers Guide to Degree Apprenticeships. PwC is one of the country's biggest graduate employers in the country, but you've recruited over 1,500 degree apprentices in the past 5 years. Why was the firm keen to have both routes, both graduates and degree apprentices?
So we recognise that the traditional university experience isn't for everybody. Some students prefer to have that more hands-on learning experience whilst they're gaining a degree as well. So we recognise that degree apprenticeships and degree programmes offer the best of both worlds, where students can gain that university degree whilst also earning while they're learning and gaining that hands-on work experience too.
And was the earning as you learn, was that a big draw for the ones you were recruiting?
Yeah, absolutely. Students now more and more are wanting to, start earning money as soon as they can. So especially in this cost of living crisis, it's definitely a draw for them.
Fantastic. Now, Madeline, KPMG has also taken this dual approach, lots of graduate opportunities, but degree apprenticeships alongside that. Which programmes are you offering for the year ahead?
Yeah, fantastic. So there are routes into KPMG via an apprenticeship into all of our business areas. So we have our audit program, the tax program, we've got a consulting program hopefully for in 2025, technology, and also a KBS, which is the KPMG Business Services program as well. So whatever area of the business that you're interested in or keen to explore more about, there is an apprenticeship pathway route here at KPMG.
So lots of different opportunities. Many of those, though, perhaps school leavers wouldn't be familiar with. So when you're out at schools, you're talking in sixth form colleges, how do you describe what accountancy actually offers, for example?
Very good question. So we start with audit, which is our biggest business area here at KPMG. It's all about engaging with our audited entity. So it's being really curious and making sure that what that business is telling the public is a true and fair reflection of what is going on in that business. So it's great for students who are really curious, have got a great attention for detail, like building relationships, to make sure that we're building trust more broadly across our business areas and also in the economy more generally.
Fantastic. Now, Lucy, when you're hiring degree apprentices and you're going through the recruitment process, what are you actually looking for? Madeline was talking there about people who perhaps can work with clients and are good with data and lots of different skills. What are you looking for when you're recruiting?
Yeah, so we assess candidates based on how their behaviours align to our PwC professional framework, which consists of two different dimensions. So one of which is trusted leadership. So we're looking at how you inspire others, also how you empower yourself, and how you look to grow and evolve as a person. On the other side, we have distinctive outcomes. So that's all about delivering quality in the work that you do and that you deliver to our clients. So we're looking for how you can recognise those behaviours and how you go about doing things, not just what you do.
So all of that is working speak. You're not expecting people to have had work experience. You don't need people who've already done perhaps work experience as an accountant or working in other areas. You're looking for people who can talk about what they've done at school and sixth form college and relate that to the sort of work they might be doing with you.
Absolutely. We're looking for their potential and what they could bring to the role as opposed to any critical work experience that they might have done. So we're looking for perhaps some examples that they might have from school or college or any volunteering that they might do. But absolutely, we're looking at how they perform in our process as opposed to previous work experience.
Great stuff. Now, Madeline, Lucy mentioned the process there. Just talk us through what you ask school leavers to do after they've made that initial application. What follows in terms of selection?
Absolutely. So the initial application, no CV, no cover letter, will just ask you for what your GCSEs were or equivalents, and then your A levels or equivalent or predicted as well. Once that's all done, you'll come through to an online assessment, and for that we're just looking at how you respond to the various scenarios that we put to you, and these are all aligned to the KPMG strengths. So you can prepare for that by looking at those strengths and having to think about how you relate to those personally. Then there's a second online assessment that's still all strengths based, but you'll also be asked about some scenarios that may come up in the service line, the business area that you've applied to as well. So you get a bit of a flavour for what the job actually will be like and the kinds of things you might come across. Then the very final stage is our Launchpad, which is a half-day assessment centre in person, lots of KPMG colleagues and other future apprentices and graduates. On that day, you will do a mixture of assessed and non-assessed activities. So on the assessed side, you'll do a group discussion assessment. So you'll be joined with some other future apprentices and a challenge will be put to you for you to work together to find a solution on. And then you'll also have a one-to-one interview with someone from the business area that you've applied to as well. So if it's audit, it'll be one of our wonderful senior leaders in audit, for tax, etc. And then as well as that, you have lots of opportunities to understand more about KPMG, more about our people, our culture and how we work. So it's also important that you decide that KPMG is the right place for your unique talent as well. So hopefully at the end of that session, you've got a really good feel for the potential new role that you'd be coming into.
So it's a lot of stages to go through, and some of the things you're describing there really very different to what school leavers might be going through when they're writing their personal statement or going through the UCAS process. Is there lots of support online? Have you got lots of examples you can share with people as to what's coming?
Absolutely. So you have the student recruitment team on hand throughout. So if you have any questions, you're not quite sure what the next step is or how to access it, we're available on the phone, or you can drop us an email. And we also have practice sessions that you can do on the online assessment, so you can get a feel of the style of questions, what it's going to look like, and you can practice that as many times as you can, which I'd highly encourage, just so you know what you're coming into. There's also loads of resources on our website that you can look through and make sure you're really prepared to go through those assessments, as well as you can join us at events before the session, before your assessment rather, to make sure you understand exactly what is coming up and ask any questions that you might have. But my biggest piece of advice is if you're unsure of anything, give us a call, let us kind of support you through that.
That's lovely, thank you. And Lucy, what would your top tips be then for sixth formers who are applying for a degree apprenticeship?
So I think my number one top tip would be to research. So that's researching PwC as a firm and thinking about why you might like to join the firm and over other professional services firms too, but also the role itself. So are you aware of what that role involves in terms of its day-to-day? And also potentially if there's a professional qualification involved, have you looked into that and do you understand, the study requirements as well? But aside from that, I'd say apply as soon as possible. Our roles are recruited for on a rolling basis, so as soon as they are filled, they are removed from the website, so do make sure you get that application in early.
So thorough preparation and
Absolutely.
Start soon.
Yes.
Brilliant. Well, look, thank you very much to Lucy Thomas from PwC and Madeline Peters at KPMG for explaining why degree apprenticeships are so important to your firms and for sharing your tips and advice on the application and selection process.
If you're keen to find out more about any of the degree apprenticeships featured on the programme, the new Sixth Formers Guide to Degree Apprenticeships is available now. You can read the digital guide at degreeapprenticeships.guide. Now it's time to find out from Martin what kind of degree apprenticeships are on offer for sixth form school leavers.
There's now more than 100 different types of Level 6 degree apprenticeships available, but by definition, each one is a vocational experience with a very specific role or job title, many of which will be unfamiliar to most sixth formers. It's an impressive list from aerospace engineer, biomedical scientist and chartered surveyor, to digital marketer, financial services professional, midwife, police constable, professional economist, or a registered nurse or retail leader. In each case, she'll be working in these roles as soon as the degree apprenticeship begins and will study for an appropriate degree that accompanies the occupation or profession. And it's not just level 6 opportunities, there's also a growing number of master's level apprenticeships. So you could choose a level 7 apprenticeship to become an architect, a chartered accountant or tax professional, or even a doctor. Or train to become a fully qualified solicitor, all while earning a salary and having your training and tuition fees paid for in full by your employer. If we look at which degree apprenticeships sixth form school leavers have enrolled on in the past year, we can see that digital and technology solutions professional was the top choice. Over 600 18-year-old school leavers started this apprenticeship in 2023. Becoming a police constable was the next most popular choice, followed by chartered surveyor and chartered manager, and the level 7 accounting and tax professional programme. But you can see on the right-hand side that only a handful of school leavers started degree apprenticeships in some of the most specialist roles like control system engineer and cybersecurity technical professional.
What an incredible selection of degree apprenticeship programmes. There's a huge range of opportunities in different industries and business sectors. I'm really pleased that we can now meet 2 degree apprentices who are in the middle of their apprenticeship. Ebenezer Odubanjo is a technology degree apprentice at JPMorganChase, and in Glasgow we have Daniel Tatarenko doing a graduate apprenticeship in technology with Barclays. Hello to you both, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Daniel, are you good?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
What I want to start with is just with you guys telling me a little bit about why you chose to do a degree apprenticeship.
Well, on my side, to be honest, I always loved learning, conventionally. But of course, during the different work experiences I did when I was in year 12 and in year 13, I basically just started to learn about degree apprenticeships, and I was like, this is really something I would love to do, right? It allows me to obviously learn and be able to actually get involved in real projects at the same time. So it was something that really appealed to me as a sixth form student at the time.
Amazing. Daniel, is it any different for you or a similar vibe?
Yeah, I mean, I guess to me the biggest asset from this program is the ability to obviously study towards a degree and also work at the same time and come out in the end with that experience. Which really kind of stands you out in the industry. And also there's so many other benefits as well to the program. Of course, you're getting paid a full-time salary, and for many that is at such a young age, which is great. So yeah, that's for me really why the main reason I chose to do a degree apprenticeship or a graduate apprenticeship in Scotland compared to the normal undergrad route.
And just sticking with you for a minute, Daniel, can you tell me a little bit about your degree apprenticeship?
So I am a technology apprentice at Barclays. So specifically, we offer 2 programs. So we offer a technology developer program and a technology analyst program. So I'm on the technology analyst program. I am in my 2nd year of the program. So I started in August 2023. And as part of my graduate apprenticeship or degree apprenticeship, I study at the University of Strathclyde on a degree course called IT Management for Business, which is like a computer science business joint degree. And so I work specifically in markets research technology as a business analyst on a day-to-day basis.
Amazing. And then Ebenezer, tell me a little bit about your degree apprenticeship.
Yeah, so quite similar, but on my side, I work with JPMorgan and I'm a digital and technology solution apprentice. So it's in partnership with the University of Exeter. And I basically sit within equities data analytics on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, that's really what I do.
So they both sound really varied and like you've got a lot going on. So Ebenezer, I'll come to you first, but can you tell me, how are you finding that balance? Obviously you've got a work life, you've got a social life, you've got a family life, you've got university life. How is all that going and how do you balance it?
Well, what I find really helps for me is just ensuring I do things in the correct, like in the time that I ought to do them. So, well, at the moment, I actually have coursework, like a deadline that's coming up. And one thing that has really helped is just the fact that I finished it even before it was due, right? So as in like a week before it's due, I've already completed it.
You're so organised.
so it keeps me, I just hate stress and trying to do things last minute just doesn't work for me. So I guess just knowing what works for each person, what works for me and ensuring I do things when they need to be done, it just helps with balance and everything.
Yeah, and is it manageable though? You're managing it okay?
It is very manageable, but what I would say is I think a lot of young people do have the misconception that if you do a degree apprenticeship, you're almost, getting out of the work of university or getting out of the work you would have had to put in if you had gone to university. But of course, it is quite different because, like you said, you're managing and balancing, university, your work life, family life, etc.
Yeah, and a social life if you have one.
And if you have one.
So, Daniel, same question to you, really. Are you one of these people who are doing your work last minute, or are you like Ebenezer and doing it a week before?
Look, I think with these type of programs, it's always important not to leave your work till last minute. It's similar to doing normal university. It's something you probably shouldn't do. When it comes to these programs, probably the best thing I can say is, you always need to have a plan. You always need to have a structure. Without those, you will probably find it a lot more difficult. I mean, the program itself is very difficult, and it's a very rewarding program, but it comes with its challenges. And regarding the social aspect, look, I think there is no denying and saying that there probably isn't as much social life compared to undergraduate. However, you're still able to make that possible when you do have that structure and planning in place. So, for example, I work on a day release system with Strathclyde Uni. So what that means is every week I'll have all my classes, all my tests, all my assessments on a Friday, and I'll be given weekly work. So for me, my structure, my plan will be to do all my weekly work before that Friday, come into university being prepared, being ready to understand all the material. And then typically that means I can either start my next week's work early or have a weekend free to myself. So definitely it's all about the structure, the planning, and especially multitasking as well, because it's never going to be the same workload. You might have some more uni work, you might have some more work from your employer. So you need to be ready for all those cases, really.
Yeah, amazing. What was the selection process like, Ebenezer? Did you join an assessment centre? Was it application process? Tell me about that.
So, it does change year to year. So, of course, to get the most up-to-date information, it would be helpful to, in JPMorgan's case, go onto the website, jpmorgan.com/careers. But while I was going through the process, of course, I had to first, submit my CV. We had an interview stage rather. We had an assessment centre stage, and there were some other things that happened. But of course, it does change year to year.
Yeah. Was yours similar, Daniel?
A lot of those components are fairly similar. I think, similarly, it does tend to change on a year-to-year basis. But typically what I would expect from a typical apprenticeship application process is usually a CV. Sometimes they may ask for a cover letter in some cases. Then you might get led to some online assessments. And then after that, it can either be directly to an interview, or it could be some further assessments, or it could be an assessment centre. But what you see is a lot of these employers typically tend to follow similar processes in what's involved in the end.
And what was that transition like, going from a kind of school or college sixth form environment to then being straight into work? Ebenezer, I'll come to you first.
Yep. So on my side, I actually took a gap year before commencing my degree apprenticeship last year. So I guess that did help me in the sense that because I'd worked during my gap year, it did help, it did help ease that transition. But what I would say is even if I had gone straight from school, because I had been, doing some things on the side as well as my A-levels, which in hindsight I probably shouldn't have, it did help in the sense that, I'd already known how to balance different things and prioritize things when the time came. So yeah.
And Daniel, what about you?
I think the transition was difficult, but once you get used to it, it becomes really enjoyable. And especially at such a young age, to be able to transition into, at the end of the day, you are working in a professional working environment, which people forget. And so if you can do your normal day-to-day work plus your uni work or qualification or provider work, whatever, then that's really, really good. And again, it presents the multitasking element. And similarly, I did kind of Scottish Hires. That's our system in Scotland. And at the same time, whilst I was doing my Scottish Hires, I had loads of different activities going on at a part-time job. But I think if you're already doing a lot of these things in school in terms of multitasking and in terms of keeping yourself busy, to be honest, then really that skill really transitions onto the program, and you'll find that kind of at ease, really.
Yeah, and just quickly, final question, but quickly from both of you, what does this lead to? What is next? Do you both have jobs? Are you looking for jobs? Where are you going?
Yeah, so, well, with JPMorgan, they've really thought of their program. And after the apprenticeship, you basically roll off into the company within your team. And, well, from there, you're, of course, you basically work full time. So it does work off it does work in that sense.
Yeah,
that
amazing.
they've thought of it.
And Daniel, what about you?
Yeah, so Barclays, most of our early careers programs, whether that's apprenticeships or graduate schemes, you typically roll off into that team. So for me, I'm in the one team for 4 years, and then I'll roll off into this team. Or if I'm interested, I can find a different team. We always have an internal job board. I think it's also worth mentioning as well, just in regards to the apprenticeship program, is obviously the program gives you access to an entire network at the firm, right? So for your program, you can network with many different people through many different areas of the bank. And so it's very easy to build strong relationships, find a different area that you're interested in. Maybe it's not even relevant to your apprenticeship program, and perhaps move there. So I think that's also a good point to mention in regards to some of the advantages when it comes to the apprenticeship program in comparison to normal university.
That all sounds amazing. Wow, thank you both. Good luck to you both as well. So we've just heard from Ebenezer from JPMorganChase and Daniel from Barclays. Thank you both so much for sharing your experiences with us.
So we've heard a lot already about what degree apprenticeships involve and the opportunities that are available. If you're trying to weigh up whether a degree apprenticeship might be a good option for you, or if you should follow the traditional university route, then help is at hand. Chanise has been comparing the different pathways.
So, who should do a conventional university degree and who might be better suited to doing a degree apprenticeship? Both lead to the graduate job market, so let's look at comparing the two routes. At university, you can expect to do 25 to 35 weeks of full-time study each year. Your university will charge you tuition fees of up to £9,500 per year, which you can cover using a student loan that you'll repay when you are in graduate employment. The combination of tuition fees and living costs at university means average graduation debts for students are typically around £40,000 to £50,000. On a degree apprenticeship, you'll study for the equivalent of 1 day per week. Your employer will pay your university tuition fees and any other training costs associated with your apprenticeship. Because you'll be an employee, you'll also be paid a salary throughout the apprenticeship, usually in the range of £18,000 to £28,000 per year. So that's the practical comparison, but who is most suited to each route? The latest research with university students shows that fewer than 1 in 6 were certain about what they wanted to do for their career when they started their degree. So, for the majority of sixth formers, going to university provides you with 3 or 4 years to think about the type of career you'd like to do. You'll have time to get work experience, try out different industries or business sectors and prepare for the graduate job market, all while studying a subject you're interested in and hopefully enjoying the social and extracurricular life on offer at university. But for sixth formers who might already know what they want to do in the future, a degree apprenticeship could be an ideal option, provided there's an apprenticeship that matches the type of jobs that you're interested in. So, if you know now that you want to work in technology, engineering, law, marketing, or any of the dozens of occupations and professions that we looked at earlier, then a degree apprenticeship could provide you with a fully funded route to a graduate level job in the industry or business sector that you're interested in. And remember, the degree that comes with the apprenticeship may well be from one of the leading universities in England, Scotland, Wales or Northern Ireland. What you can't do is a general apprenticeship while you make your mind up about what type of career is right for you. All degree apprenticeships are for specific job types or occupations, and in order to win a place on them, you'll need to be able to persuade an employer now why you're keen to do the role.
Thanks, Chanise, that's really helpful. Now, if you're thinking about doing a degree apprenticeship, then the Sixth Former's Guide to Degree Apprenticeships is packed with useful information about the different types of degree apprenticeships that are available, and has full details of many of the country's top employers who are offering degree apprenticeships in 2025. Just go to degreeapprenticeships.guide to read the digital guide.
And of course, each employer offering degree apprenticeships has their own website, providing the latest details of their programmes, their recruitment process and their application form.
The official government portal for apprenticeships is on the gov.uk website. Their Find an Apprenticeship service lists employers who are currently accepting applications. And although it covers all levels of apprenticeships, you can filter your search for degree apprenticeships.
And if you're looking for information about degree apprenticeships in Scotland, head to apprenticeships.scot. In Wales, it's on the Careers Wales website, and the NI Direct website has details of higher level apprenticeships in Northern Ireland.
We can't tell you whether doing a degree apprenticeship after you leave school is the right option for you, only you can decide that.
But we hope we've helped you understand what's available from employers, what degree apprenticeships involve, and the kind of training, qualifications and degrees they can lead to.
So thank you very much for watching from all of us at the Sixth Former's Guide to Degree Apprenticeships. Until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.